The fastest way to learn Spanish is with daily consistency, immersive input, and active speaking practice. After almost 20 years teaching, oh my God, I feel so old. These are my top tips for how to speak and understand Spanish backed by real-world evidence. And at the end of the video, a few mistakes you definitely want to avoid. The most important ingredient in language learning is consistency. But that doesn't mean studying all day. 10 to 30 minutes a day is not only enough time to make progress, it's actually proven to be more effective than cramming for hours. Long study sessions overwhelm our ability to hold on to new material. It's like trying to clean up a spill with a wet sponge. It's not going to stay in there. Quick sessions are also easier to fit into your life, easier to maintain, and they help to avoid burnout. And by creating a habit, ideally at the same time every day, your brain will start to expect the routine. It's ready to learn and looks forward to making progress. You won't be fluent in a week, but you can definitely be speaking and even understanding basic conversations that quick, which is great for motivation. And motivation is critical. Language learning only works when we are enjoying ourselves. You have to make the process fun. So watch a great TV show or YouTuber, or listen to podcasts in Spanish, music you like in Spanish. There's this linguist named Stephen Krashen, and he talked about compelling input being key to language learning acquisition. The idea is you can't watch any random thing in your target language. It can't just be kind of interesting. It has to compel you to keep watching or listening or reading. If you like Breaking Bad, for example, you can try Casa de Papel. Crazy twists. Or if you like Ted Lasso, you can watch Club de Cuervos, which is a personal favorite of mine. And if you're still binging reruns of The Office, you can try División Palermo, which is really funny. Those are all on Netflix, but I'll put some other recommendations in the description for Amazon, Disney, and HBO. Does watching TV in Spanish actually work? 100%. A dissertation from the University of Barcelona showed that target language media supports comprehension and vocabulary learning. And should you watch with subtitles in your language, in Spanish? Not at all. Anything goes, really. Whatever makes you enjoy it. Studies have shown that subtitles in your target language can help with attention and reinforce vocabulary acquisition, but especially in the early stages, any way of hearing the language out loud will help you develop your ear for Spanish and your ability to recognize certain words. Focus on the entertainment and let the language come second. Spanish has around 100,000 words, but you can get through lots of real-life conversation with just a few hundred. You probably already know some Spanish, like hello, hola, yes, sí, please, por favor. You honestly don't need that much more to survive a few days on vacation. But assuming your goal isn't just survival, think about what you want to accomplish. Ordering at restaurants, online dating, talking to your abuelita. Let those goals guide you. If you know you'll never work in a Spanish-speaking office, don't waste your time learning how to say, as per my previous email. There's this thing called the Pareto principle, and it basically says that 80% of results tend to come from 20% of inputs. Don't sweat the small stuff. Focus on that 20%. If you can spend your time on the Spanish you're actually going to use, you'll avoid wasting time. You can't learn everything at once. You need a solid foundation before you start building up, and it's not always obvious where to begin. That's why it's so helpful to find a roadmap for your journey, a clear progression that keeps you moving forward without feeling overwhelmed. Babbel offers a structured method developed by hundreds of experts, but whatever resources you choose to use, make sure you find an approach to learning intentionally, introducing grammar and vocabulary in a sequenced, progressive way. Hay que aprender a caminar antes de correr. When it comes to goals, they should be simple and they should be attainable. Do you want to order in Spanish at your local Mexican place by next week? Amazing goal, completely doable, even if you've never spoken a word before. I'll drop a link below with resources to get you there, focusing on that specific vocabulary. When we're learning a new language, we all want to get fluent, but that's not really a useful goal. How long does that take? How will you know when you arrived? What does that even mean? It's too hard to say. You have to create specific, measurable, attainable, relevant, and time-bound goals. You can try setting weekly speaking or writing challenges, or record yourself once a month to track your progress. These small victories will give you a sense of anticipation and momentum. And this is big. Don't be afraid to speak out loud, even if your accent is terrible, especially if your accent is terrible. It's how we learn. So you have to delete this phrase out of your vocabulary. No hablo español. Guess what? If you can say that sentence, sí hablas español. So, repeat after me. Pause the video if you want to, but repeat after me. Yo puedo hablar español. Yo voy a mejorar mi español. Yo voy a cometer errores. Mis errores me ayudan a aprender. I actually made a whole video where you can practice having a conversation in beginner Spanish if you're interested. But if you want to speak Spanish, guess what? You have to speak Spanish. And it doesn't have to be scary. You can use an AI convo partner like Babbel Speak. You can find a tutor online. You can read out loud. And one super underrated tip, speak out loud to yourself. Once you have a tiny bit of vocabulary, start using it when you're alone. Just narrate whatever you're doing in Spanish. Estoy hablando español. ¿Dónde están mis llaves? Esto es una naranja. You'll feel a little silly at first, but speaking out loud improves your fluency and your confidence. Let's finish up with a few common mistakes people make when they're starting out. Don't study words by themselves. Contextualize them with your own experiences. Put new words in context. If you just learn alto in a big list of random adjectives, you might remember it means tall. But if you learn mi tío Mark es alto y loco y mi tía Carol es baja, you'll not only remember it much better, you'll be using it in real communication. Don't treat Spanish like a sprint. It's like a marathon with better food and more dancing. Be very patient even when progress is not super apparent. Trust the process. Don't stress yourself out with grammar. In fact, don't even think about grammar until the moment you want to. There are some crazy people out there who actually enjoy learning grammar. Guilty. If you're one of them, or if you're genuinely curious, sure, look up a tricky concept. But the only way to learn is to focus on communication. Listen, speak, make mistakes, repeat. ¿Qué crees? What do you think? ¿Estás listo o lista? If so, make sure to subscribe for new videos every week. Remember, consistency is key. Hasta la próxima.